All right, let's just call it like it is. You don't need another Canva quote post. You don't need a 78th reel of you pointing at words. And for the love of caffeine, you definitely don't need to just be consistent. What you actually need is to stop wasting good content like it's disposable paper plates. Because here's the truth. You've already got posts, videos, and ideas that could be printing money, but instead they're sitting in your feed like forgotten leftovers. In this video, I'm showing you how to dig those gems up, pump them full of AI juice, plug them into a funnel run by a VA who costs less than your Uber Eats habit, and turn all of that into actual booked calls. No hustle, no content hamster wheel, no LinkedIn bro posts. Let's build the lazy person's appointment machine, hit play, and let's see some examples.
Tired of deepfake clones? You're not alone. Today at 8:30 a.m. PST, we're breaking down why brands are ditching AI lookalikes for persona avatars like me.
Hi, I'm one of Rob's AI avatars. Miss this week's episodes? Catch the replays now before your competitor does. Missed last week's episode? The replays are now available. And don't forget to save a seat for this week's episode.
Wait, you're saying one short video booked 10 calls?
Yep. AI did the heavy lifting. My VA handled the rest.
Okay, this funnel is wild. We're unpacking it. Don't miss this.
Welcome to the Digital Advisor Weekly Broadcast. Looking to boost your business with the latest trends, innovative tech, and must-have resources? Join us to discover how to successfully scale your practice and automate the process. Here to guide you is your host, the dynamic leader of Advisor Marketing Hub and managing partner at American Financial, Rob Souza.
Welcome to this week's episode, and happy Wednesday to everybody out there on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And we're jumping in to obviously the kind of part 3 series of AI and how you can leverage AI to create content that doesn't require you to be in front of the camera. We've been talking about social posts and social content, even weekly broadcasts or podcasts, that we can use an AI avatar or clone to be able to create for you on your behalf. But this week, we're going to take it to a whole new level because we're really talking about the entire sales funnel. It's the final piece that you need to put together an entire AI-driven, VA-facilitated sales funnel that doesn't require you to be a part-time marketer 10 hours a week. Have you been told that, oh, just post more multiple times on multiple platforms every day, and eventually you'll figure out what works and what doesn't work? I confess I may have said that a few times to some people as well. But you post reels, you post shorts and LinkedIn quotes and inspirational and happy holidays, and yet still, does your calendar look like a ghost town? And if you felt that way, that's what we're talking about today. It's that final missing piece that everyone needs to convert from quality content to long form workshop, webinar, masterclass, whatever you want to call it, to convert people in the service industry, to help you convert into scheduled appointments. Because at the end of the day, in our industry, that's what we're looking for. And the truth is, hope and just trying harder is not a funnel. It's not a recipe that has purpose and direction, where we start here and we finish here, and it's a very clear pathway on how we get there. That's what we're going to try and flush out today and make it easier so you can see all the pieces that need to be put together. And it doesn't have to be you. So remember, content without a strategy for conversion is just noise. Let's get rid of the noise. Let's create some clarity. So if you have felt like you're doing daily posts on LinkedIn with tons of value, and yet you can't seem to get people to like or share or engage, and you're not getting those calls, we're going to talk about how you can convert people from the very top of posting to directing people to some sort of weekly content like a podcast or broadcast, and then eventually to some sort of long form presentation that calls them to action, which is that scheduling the appointment. Why is that not working for most people? Because there's no clear strategy that gets all the way down to the bottom. It may get halfway. You may create the long form content, but you're not creating the organic content. And maybe you have to do a little bit of advertising to promote the broadcast or podcast so that you get more people aware of your long form masterclass, which then with more people watching that, more people will convert into scheduling an appointment with you. So what do you need? The system is, just really quickly before we kind of get a little bit deeper, it posts at the organic level, social media posts to get people's attention. Now, with AI, we have the ability to do it in a much more entertaining way. Anything you can imagine can create attention now. And so it's really, really important, if all the other content creators are using AI and animation and all these imaginative ideas. I think, what is it, last week or the week before, our creator, Brian from Redco, had me jumping out of a plane. Like, that's going to grab so much more attention than just sitting in front of a camera and talking for a video reel that's cut out of a broadcast. Why? Because you can narrate a hook, storyline, and then climax, CTA, all in 30 seconds, done exactly with the right recipe, with much more intent that will convert more people to actually watching your weekly show, whether it's a podcast or broadcast. So that will engage people with your weekly content, and then invite them, after they've had a chance to engage with some of your weekly content, invite them for the long form opt-in masterclass or workshop. That's the outline. That's where we're going with it. But let's take a look at this next video.
For anybody who is trying to do this, it's quantity first. So you just have to put out a lot of stuff. And you do a lot of stuff, not because you're going to get a lot of reach from it, but because you don't know what you're doing. It gives you two things. One is it gives you feedback from the audience, because there's going to be some stuff that does better than others. And so it's like, cool, do more of that. And then you start to learn how to increase the quality. That's like doing the more of that good stuff. You start studying the things that are outliers that do a little bit better. And I think the third phase is quality quantity, where you can put out amazing videos and then more of them.
Well, thanks, Jen, for wishing everybody a happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. Let's dive into kind of our overview and give you a little bit more idea and clarity. And we want to show you how you can turn short form content into, obviously, bottom of the funnel appointments. And I feel like there's, well, our whole team feel like two missing pieces. One, it is the volume of strategic content. The better the content, the less you need to flood social media. When you just watch a video and they say, you got to post a lot of content to see what works. Well, if you're using strategic content that's already been tested, then you don't have to be flooding your social channels, because you've already narrowed it down to what works and you want to just repeat that pattern. So it's really important. Don't just post and pray. Make sure that you have either, you're going to have to find your strategy, or by doing a variety of different patterns and techniques, not techniques, patterns and ideas, creative ideas on trying to, how do I connect with my audience that converts to people actually wanting to watch your weekly long form content. All right, so the premise of all of this is it's going to take work, either working with somebody who already understands a strategy, or working with a virtual assistant who can create enough content for you to discover the actual pattern that works for you, or strategy that works for you. And then what's great about this is we've been testing all kinds of AI avatars, from animated, cartoon, real life, and so we have patterns that already work and avatars that already work, that all we have to do is swap scripts out and point towards your weekly content. So you can discover it on your own, and you just need the volume, or partner with a VA or a team that's already done this and work with them on the patterns that they've developed using basically an AI influencer to promote your content, to prevent you from having to be behind the camera. Because remember, you're not a content monkey, you're a sales rep, right? Thanks, Brie, of course. You never know what the producer's going to throw out there for us. I thought she was going to try and AI avatar me as a monkey, but thanks for not doing that. I appreciate that, Marie. Okay, so test and track whether you're doing an existing pattern that works or whether you are discovering your own pattern of which organic social media is working or not working. You don't know that if you're not looking at the analytics. You need to make sure that you are a student of your analytics so you can see watch time. There you go. See, this is so you can see the peaks and valleys. And so it's really important you study this chart within, I think this is within your dashboard on YouTube. And then you can see where people are engaging and where you have drop off. And so you can go back and look at your content and figure out what's working best and what's not working. And the faster, the more content that you do when you're trying to discover what works, then the more of these analytics you can look at and begin to develop patterns. You can see every time I do this, I get a spike. Every time I do this, I get a drop off. And the magic of that is it fail forward faster. Well, then try a bunch of stuff, figure out what doesn't work, and throw it away, stick with what's working, double down and improve until you finally get that pattern that works for you, that attracts your audience and retains them to keep coming back. And then you've got your pattern or strategy. Or you can just adapt someone else's, and we'll talk about how you can do that a little bit later. But this content is the premise of capitalism, and that really is competing with everybody else who's out there for what? Attention. Because it all starts with attention. You could have great content, amazing services, the best out there in the entire country. But if you never got anybody's attention to actually realize how genius you are, then it won't matter. It's like a tree that falls in the woods, but nobody hears it, nobody sees it. It becomes irrelevant. So we want to encourage you to make sure you are relevant by making sure you do grab attention. All right. So we're talking about boosting winners with ads. So when a post hits, we want to pour gasoline on that fire.
We're trying to get this fire going here. Colonel, what are we going to do? Oh, there we go. Some gasoline will take care of it.
Exactly. What do I mean by that? And this is something that I have pushed back against for the last 5 years, because Facebook had burned me so many times by changing their community policies and then all of a sudden shutting down my ad account because they changed policies and we didn't realize that we violated a policy of like what you can say and what you can't say in a Facebook ad. And I just got tired of always trying to reinvent the wheel. But thank God I met a good friend of mine, Brian Wayne from Redco, who specializes, he's been doing this for longer than I have, and specializes in PPC, pay-per-click advertising on all of the platforms. Facebook, obviously, Facebook, Instagram is performing best right now, but it's important. We want to help those of you whose audience is on LinkedIn replicate the same content. Now, this isn't your typical PPC advertising, and here's why. Because when you typically hire a company, they either use a strategy they already have proven that works, and then they just repeat the same thing, which isn't unique to you. And that's been kind of the traditional approach. What we're talking about doing is either you or our team is creating you completely unique content. And now that AI is involved, we have more options. infinitely more options to create more competitive ads that are more entertaining, or as Brian likes to say, edutainment, so that we can make it the content of the financial industry more enjoyable to watch, more engaging, to draw people in and understand what we're trying to explain to them. And then from there, it's about once you found that gasoline on, once you found that viral post, and the pouring gasoline is turning that into a PPC ad, a pay-per-click ad. And it's different than just coming up with an ad to create like a registration. What we're doing is taking ads or videos or posts that already are doing really well and just boosting them. It's very different than starting from scratch. We're boosting what we've already proven to work, and we're going to do it incrementally so that you're not risking a $3,000 to $5,000 budget on a ad campaign that you have no idea whether it's going to work or not. If it's working organic, then we know that it'll work if we put money behind it with a strategic target market that you've determined. That's the piece that we're adding in today's episode, and that advertising will help boost the people going through your funnel and pushing more people into a long form content presentation like a masterclass, which then, Brian, jump in.
Oh, well, praise Jesus. I just finished rendering the video like 30 seconds ago. So we're going to be able to show 2 demos of an advisor introing a workshop.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about paid ads first, we can do that.
All right. So we're going to do that. Let's jump to this. Am I in the right place? Yes. To our next video, and then you and I will come right back.
Okay.
If you're a content creator, you are in the business of helping people. If you're like me, you've probably fallen into the trap of thinking, I'll just post something because I like it and other people will automatically fall in love with it as well. When in fact, the content that you make needs to do one of 3 things. It should make them laugh, it should teach them something, or it should motivate them.
All right. So, and jumping back to PPC advertising, everybody's audience is in a different place. Different audiences have different platforms. Business owners are primarily going to be on, business professionals, and business owners are going to be on LinkedIn versus, let's just say, a housewife who's done with her day, sitting on the couch, drinking a glass of wine, and she's probably going to go to Instagram or Facebook. And so there's different audiences for different demographics. But give us a quick kind of overview on why pay-per-click advertising can become very affordable when we're using posts that have already proven to be viral.
Well, it has you've proven that the algorithm is going to send it to the right people. And especially with Facebook and a little bit on YouTube as well, the algorithm is just so smart. It can find the audience for you. So targeting isn't even really that important anymore with running Facebook ads. And if you know that a post got 20,000 views organically, and you put $5 a day or $10 a day behind that, you can run that as video views and reach even more people if it's more of a wider reaching content. If it's a more targeted content with a more direct CTA that you want to say, here's the information I want to teach you, here's where you can go sign up and book a call. Now you're getting leads, and the algorithm is going to, instead of showing it to people just to watch, the intent changes and the algorithm changes, and it says, let me show this video to people who are most likely to click and to book a call or to go watch a webinar or whatever it is you want to do. The algorithm will, it already understands what the content is about because it's reading the audio. It reads the post that you've written. So you need to fill up that post caption with keywords and content that's relevant to what the video is talking about. And then just let the algorithm do its thing, and it will go out and it will find the people that are likely to click and watch something else that you want them to watch.
And that's what's great about today's algorithms that are changing, is because it's no longer dependent on our ability to figure out what your target audience is. It knows based on the content you create. But real quick question, Brian, before I move on, because I want to finish the 6 steps. We're on step 4, driving people from organic with paid to a weekly long form before going to a masterclass. Why is it important to have that weekly content before just an ad to a straight masterclass?
I would say it's because it's part of the content funnel. So if you go through the customer journey and the 5 steps of the customer journey, they're completely unaware that they have a problem. So that your wide content wants to make them aware. And then once they become aware, now they know they have a problem. So now they're problem aware and they're looking for a solution. And when they're looking for that solution, that's where that longer form content, either a podcast or a broadcast, comes in, because you're educating them about the solution. And then once they know that there's a solution available, now they're ready to engage even deeper.
You're exactly right.
You're warming them up.
So, and that's exactly right. So your weekly content that you're doing on long form video, like we're doing today, the Digital Advisor Weekly or weekly podcast, doesn't matter. You're establishing really the problem. Today's episode, I said, are you tired of posting multiple times a day on multiple channels and not seeing anything translate onto your calendar? That's the awareness of the problem. And if you identify with that problem or that frustration, you may stick around to listen. And we're talking about just some high level concepts and ideas. If they want to actually implement what we're talking about in today's episode, then we invite them. They agree, yes, I have that problem. Yes, I see your solution based on the weekly podcast or broadcast, but I actually want to implement it for myself. Can I learn exactly how to do it? Then you invite them to the masterclass, because now they're nurtured into believing that you can solve their problem.
Yes,
Go ahead.
And your long form content gives them an opportunity to like you, to trust you, because they're either, when you watch a show on TV or the news or whatever, there's certain hosts on news that you just don't like, and there's ones that you do like. So it just gives, you're going to be attracting your ideal client, really, because they're going to see your personality, they're going to appreciate the information that you're giving them. And then you're inviting them to go further with you, either book a call or watch a webinar or attend an event or whatever it is you want them to do.
But the biggest challenge is financial advisors, trying to figure all this stuff out and put all the pieces in place. It does start to feel like a second job, which is why
it's overwhelming.
Why we built this out, and we're going to show them how we can plug them into pre-built presentations, but actually swap out the host with the advisor themselves without them having to get on camera, other than a short 2-minute video to create an authentic clone. We'll talk about that in just a second. But the weekly content's important. Make sure you're focused on creating awareness of the problem.
Yes.
And awareness of the possible solutions, because there's not the same solution for everybody.
Right.
That's why they need to go to the masterclass to see which solutions work for which people in which circumstances. And the phone call afterwards is for the expert to be able to apply, pick, suggest, recommend, and outline a plan on how to help them actually implement the recommended strategy. So this content funnel, you said it, it's like a trust hub. By doing podcasting and broadcasting, people get to know you and believe you that you can solve their problems. Make sure it's not pitchy. It's got to be value packed, so that they don't think you have he's just trying to sell me, our ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And you're trying to create an episode of like a combination of Joe Rogan and Tony Robbins, because it's motivation. It's like Joe Rogan's asking all the questions about the problems, the challenges, the obstacles, and Tony Robbins is inspiring and motivating people to take action and do something about it. And he's giving you on stage potential solutions that you could use to solve these everyday problems that seem like huge obstacles. And Tony Robbins is like, no, crush them, because there's all these other solutions, all these other people. You've blown it up in your mind to be this big thing that's unsolvable, and it's not true. Come to our masterclass, and we'll show you how or why.
Yeah, and something you just said a second ago is people believe that you have an ulterior motive, and we all have that to some degree. And what content does, and especially the weekly content, is you're removing the friction for them to move forward. You're just making it easier for them. You're basically just facilitating them to take the next step. And if you're just authentic and personable, and your content is relevant and it's packed with information, people are always saying, give the value, give the value. It's like, that's true. It's like, give them everything they want, answer all their questions for free up front, and then get them into your weekly podcast for more information. And then from there, get them into your workshop. Right. And then from there, just book a call and start talking to these people.
Great setup. Step 5, invite them after your weekly content to your topic-based workshop. Why topic-based? Because each week you may talk about slightly different things. The last 3 weeks we've been talking about AI, and so we may send them to that particular masterclass or workshop. But if you're a financial advisor, you may do business exit planning, and then you may do retirement planning. You may do tax planning. Make sure that you have those tranches. You need to have a master class for each tranche. Now we get back to, I got to create 3 master classes. No, we can plug you into ones that are already pre-built, pre-tested, and swap the host out for you so that they can continue to learn from you. In fact, if you're skeptical about that, the intro of today's show, the last 3 weeks have all been my avatar, not me, obviously, because I wasn't directing this in the intro. And so we're playing around with that. The technology is getting better. If you're not completely satisfied with it and how it represents you today, just wait 2 weeks, because the technology is advancing so fast that every 24 hours I'm seeing improvements.
That's true. That's not hyperbole. I've literally seen, like in the last 2 weeks, amazing leaps forward in brand new platforms that have just come out.
That's right. And then finally, step 6 is really convert. Will help you with a formula with an author. It actually happens to be my wife, and who's a master's degree and a ghostwriter, writes a story arc to your presentations, your workshops, and your master classes. So it's not just all academic, like people feel like they're sitting in college again. And create some entertainment into your education and explains very dry topics in very entertaining ways. We're going to get into more of that in part 4 next week, where we're going to show you some really tangible results from our Friday workshop, which is in 2 days from now. If you want to implement this strategy, stick around. We're going to tell you how you can do that. And we're going to give you a chance as an advisor to be swapped in on some of the content that we've already created, so you can see how this technology works. But it is mind-blowing, because all you have to give is 2 minutes on camera. We can create an entire 5-part series on whatever topic that is the highest converting topic for you, and you start there and then you iterate. So I'm going to kind of skip forward here because we're hitting the top of the hour. So let's hit the next video, and then I'm going to try and see if we can start wrapping this up and giving people the information they need to join us on Friday.
Would you believe me if I told you I'm not actually real? This entire video was generated using an AI version of myself, and I use a tool called HeyGen, which goes way beyond editing. All you need to do is upload a 2-minute video of yourself talking, and HeyGen learns how you speak and how you move. Then you just type in what you want to say, and your AI clone will say whatever you want it to say. Unlike other tools that help you edit after you film, HeyGen lets you remove the entire camera part, which means you just need to record one video, and then you can create as many videos as you want. And the crazy part is you can even speak in any language, como en español ya hindi mein bhi, which is pretty cool. So if you want access, then comment AI and I'll send it over. And trust me, you're gonna wish you had this way sooner.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna again quickly move through here, but the whole point is that if this intimidates you, we have resources where literally everything other than you programming in AI and then us capturing your voice, your likeness, and your personality so that we can generate scripts based on your suggested topics. The VAs will take care of the whole process using our tech platform. Cheryl's asking, do you create Facebook? No, don't create anything. That's the whole point. The whole point of today's is what you're doing is letting people come to you by grabbing their attention through edutainment. You can post in groups, but don't create groups, because people know that if a financial advisor creates a group, everybody knows why. And so most people will try to avoid that because they're trying to avoid sales. I would just join groups and post relevant solutions for free in groups that are your target audience. Okay. So the whole point is that this, for those of you who are really good at marketing and innovative and you want to try this yourself, we're giving you everything that you need. And if you show up on Friday, we're going to give you every piece of the puzzle, including the tech stack, what we do, our process, so that you can do it entirely on your own. If you're like most of my financial advisors, real estate agents, sales reps, and you don't want to spend the 10 or 20 hours trying to figure it out, we've got you covered. And we're going to reveal what we've tested, what works, and we're going to do some advisor swaps in real time in a workshop that is going to allow you to walk away with an exact segment of you hosting without ever having to host. But you're going to have to reach out to me because we're going to need your avatar before the workshop. So you got to register for the workshop, and then you're going to have to message me at rob@advisormarketinghub.com or schedule15minutes.com, and you can schedule a 15-minute call and I'll walk you through the process. Anybody who registers and sends me a message, we will, whether it's on air or off air, we are actually going to replace the presenter in a masterclass with your avatar, with your clone, so you can see how the technology works. We're also going to show you some examples of top line funnel animated avatars, or not animated, using AI avatars to create really creative creative content that's going to grab attention to drive traffic down this funnel. So those are the two reveals that we're going to do on Friday. And we are going to actually create both some video reels for attendees, and we're going to create a swap out of an existing presentation for attendees. Just make sure you register, and then schedule a time where we can get your avatar set up in advance, and then we'll do it live on Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. You can join us. If for those of you who are hanging in there, because I know we just hit our half hour, I just want to show you Brian, do we have those samples? I don't think they rendered. So we'll wait for Friday, and then we'll show you a sample of a swap that we were working on this morning, and it just isn't rendering fast enough while we're online. So remember the 6 steps: AI content, test it, come up with a pattern, track the winners, meaning which ads are winning, which ones are working, and which ones are converting. Boost with paid ads on those, pour gasoline on the fire, drive traffic to your weekly show. I know I'm going too fast for my producer. I'm on 4. Drive. So 3 is boost with paid ads, the ones that are winning. Then there we go. And then drive traffic to your weekly show, and use your weekly show to invite people to a masterclass or workshop. And step 6, that workshop is meant to convert people into introductory phone calls. So that's the overview. And remember, we're here to help you with the process. You don't have to do it on your own. So do you want to keep posting and praying, or do you want to build a system that turns content into appointments? And I can't wait to show you how to stop posting aimlessly, start scaling smarter, and finally, turn content into real appointments inside our masterclass this Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific. And until then, stay sharp, stay systemized or automated and let the robots do the heavy lifting. Until next time, we'll see you in the digital world.